One of the most disappointing things towards the end was that there was a lot of hype around the fact that Cher came and that Cher freed the elephant, which is like not entirely true. These guys um traveled in a airplane with the elephant, like the 5.5 ton elephant. These guys traveled in a cargo airplane with like no facilities whatsoever, and it's kind of like risking your life.
What is up, you guys, and welcome back to another Firefire podcast over here. Guys, we are nearing 90 fucking episodes of this thing. Like, literally, guys, we've met over 80 brand new people on this podcast. I never knew we'd be able to do it, but today we have a fantastic guest over here today. Her name is Ayesha Mir. I've known her from school. Salman's known her from school. Salman just doesn't remember anything about her. Unfortunately, she doesn't remember anything about us either. But hey, it is what it is. She's 3 years older than us, and she's she's a filmmaker. She's made documentaries specifically about that elephant. She's working on a documentary about that elephant Kavaan that just got transported from here to Cambodia. I think it's in Cambodia, right? It got transported to Cambodia.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, from here to Cambodia, and we're just going to be diving right into it and just, asking her about her journey. But before we do that, Salman is going to take over the plug and then just, start the show. Go.
Yeah. All right. So, guys, if you're still here in a minute, please like and subscribe. If you're not, goodbye. I'm gonna say this every episode from now on. And also, we're on like Spotify. Spotify is in Pakistan. We are on Spotify.
Spotify!
So check us out there.
Spotify is here,
We're
guys.
also on like YouTube.
What a lucky day
Guys,
for
we're
Google
me.
progressing.
Podcasts.
What Spotify
Okay,
as
and
of 4
since-
hours ago, as of 4 hours like today, Spotify is in Pakistan, guys. I've never used it. I'm excited because I've never used Spotify before. But yeah, Salman, you take over.
Yeah, I mean,
First
okay, we're
question
already
and
talking
round,
about
and
this.
we're gonna go from
We're
there.
already
Just gonna
talking
chill
about this. Okay, Spotify personally changed
Yeah.
my life. Like, I feel cheesy and like basic saying that, but it has changed my life. I used to have the most basic taste in music. I think I had a downloaded collection of like 150 songs, and I was too lazy to update it for like 3 years. So it was like I was listening to songs from like 2014, and then I got Spotify, and I've like discovered
Yeah.
new songs every day since. Aisha, I know you use Spotify. What do you think? Like, are you hyped for this?
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I've explored a whole new range of lo-fi music. You find all kinds of music there for every mood. You're in the mood to party, and I'm sure Apple Music is the same, but I've never used that. I feel like Spotify is a lot
Yeah.
more user friendly, and I love that you can listen to your friends' playlists as well. So you can, I mean, don't go around stalking your friends, but but it's
Yeah.
really cool how
Yeah,
you can
you see?
share music with each other.
Yeah. Yeah, you see, guys, I've never experienced any of this. The only way I used to listen to music is YouTube or those ghetto apps like Savan and Ghana and all that. Like, literally, those are like the only avenues I had before. But now we're like, the floodgates have opened and the opportunity is there. So, yeah, we're gonna just go from there. Okay, Aisha, first thing that I want to ask you is that you're a human rights journalist. What is all that about? How'd you get into that? And just take the floor, just start talking.
Well, basically, when I came back from college, which was in 2017, I was lost for a really long time. Like, I knew I
Yeah.
wanted to write.
Okay.
I belong to a family of journalists, and I knew I wanted to go into journalism somehow, but it seemed a lot harder than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
I interned at Dawn for a bit, which was great. I mean, it was great exposure to a really big news network. But I feel like,
Yeah.
it's really hard to find mentors in a field that's as diverse as journalism. So anyway, I mean, I always was into documentary filmmaking. I took some courses at college, and my instructor was like, "You have a good
Yeah.
eye for a camera, and like don't waste your talent." So I kind of just started showing
Yeah.
up to all of these rallies and protests, like the Students' March and then the Aurat March and all kinds of rallies
Yeah.
happening outside the Islamabad Press Club. So over there one day, this journalist Muniza Jangir, who runs voicepk.net, she just kind of saw me with my camera, and she was like, "Yo, I'm looking for," I mean, she didn't say yo, but she was like, "I am looking for a female journalist who's gonna cover human rights issues. So would you be interested?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And it's especially an important platform because you get to cover stories that aren't exactly being covered by mainstream media. So I think why the opportunity was really special to me was because you put on Geo News, you put on ARY News, and you don't even feel like watching them anymore because it's so sensational and it's all like politicians fighting amongst each other. And I think with human rights issues, so I've done all kinds of stories from like covering rallies and I guess from covering rallies of students to covering rallies of like missing persons, which was a really hot topic in the last week, to covering like rape cases, which are so emotionally, they take such an emotional toll on you. So yeah, I mean, would you guys like to know specifically about a certain topic that I've covered or?
I think what I'd want to know about
Go,
is
go,
well,
go,
hold up, hold
go.
up. I think what I want to know about is like I know these are all topics that get a lot of backlash. Especially on the internet. You go to YouTube comments. There's just a ton of weird people who have issues with everything. What are
Yeah.
topics you feel get a lot of that when you deal with them?
So the last week when I was covering issues, when I was covering the missing persons camp in Islamabad from the people who were here from Balochistan, actually my legs would shake every time I would go there and report on it because I know it's such a
Wow.
controversial topic. The establishment does not want
Yeah.
anyone talking about it. There's a lot of backlash, as you said, online. And actually, being a journalist in Pakistan and putting yourself out there in the public space, it's really, really scary, especially as a female, because it's not just hate, it's
It's
like sexist hate. And that's why
it
I'm
could
just so
poten-
careful to
it
like
could be
not put my
potentially dangerous. It could be potentially
yeah.
dangerous. Like
A
actually,
lot
you
of
could be
female
putting your life
journalists
at
I
risk.
know.
Like yeah.
Yeah, no, like, and the first thing that comes your way is like rape threats or death threats. And that's why I am so careful to not, put my face anywhere and kind of stay behind the cameras, just make sure all of the
Yeah.
attention is on the issue that I'm covering. But, I mean,
Yeah.
eventually somebody finds out who you are, where you live, where your Facebook profile is, where your pictures are, and something or the other happens.
Exactly.
But I was really scared in the beginning, but now I've just told myself that, it comes with the territory, right? Like as long as I'm raising
Yeah.
my voice for the right issues, it doesn't matter what happens.
Well, also you come
Kudos to
from
you, man.
as
Kudos
yeah,
to
definitely. So, okay, you said something really interesting earlier. You said you come from a family of journalists. And I think that's the coolest thing to ever hear. Because in Pakistan, you always hear, oh, I come from a family of doctors, a family of lawyers, I like a military family. I think a family of journalists sounds like the coolest thing you could possibly come from.
It's scary.
How's that?
It comes with a lot of tension. It comes with a lot of trauma because,
Yeah.
my grandfather was a journalist under Zia's regime. And that's when he used to resist the dictatorship with his writings and his columns. And he was a professor as well.
Wow.
And I wouldn't.
Did he ever face any
Yeah,
like
yeah,
any
there were
actual
like
danger?
fake
Because
cases
because back in Zia's
yeah,
day.
yeah. Because like I mean,
Yeah.
the way they torture journalists, especially, is mental torture, right? So they're gonna go after your family. They're gonna kind of make up all kinds of fake cases against you, get your kids into trouble. So
Yeah.
actually, I don't think my dad ever would. I know that deep down inside, he is proud that I'm entering the field, but at the same time, he's really scared as well
Yeah.
because nobody
of
wants
course,
their
I
kids
understand.
going through the same kind of trouble that they went through. And it's actually,
Totally.
it's, I feel like sometimes when I go out with my friends, I'm a lot more paranoid because there's so many things that I need to be careful of, what I say, who I say it to, who I expose my personal life to. So I used to be, I mean,
Yeah.
I think I used to be a lot more stressed out about it, but now that I'm coming into the profession myself, like I've realized that it's just a risk you have to
Yeah.
take, and there's a lot of hate as well that you get. I think that's the most heartbreaking part of it, that like you're literally putting your life at risk to like provide really authentic information to the audience, but there's always going to be people who hate on you and unnecessarily, right? And like the extent that online trolling goes to is just, I think it can
Oh
really
my
have
God!
adverse effects
Don't
on
even
someone's
get me
mental health.
started on online hate.
Yeah.
Don't even get me started on online hate. The amount of hate that I've received over the entire course of this fucking podcast, I swear to God.
Just over the
comments-
podcast.
Look,
Oh my
at one
God.
point, just over this is just over the podcast. I have other avenues as well, and I get a lot of shit from that and a lot of slack from that as well. But the podcast alone, you wouldn't believe the amount of shit that I've gotten, and it's an entire other story. But like, yeah, Aisha, I totally understand. It can take an adverse ये कहते हैं, effect on your mental health because it did affect me a little bit. But I feel like you need to understand that these people don't know who you are and they don't know the full
Yeah.
360 picture about what you're doing and all that. They're just commenting on what they have on a very narrow perspective from what they can see from their own lens, from like a computer
Yeah,
screen.
and the good
So,
thing
yeah,
about
matlab,
social media is
if
that
you have that in
like
mind.
there are as many appreciators as there are haters. So like there are some people who genuinely connect to
I mean, yeah.
the things, the issues that I cover, and they're glad that I do. Like I did a documentary
Yeah.
on sanitation workers, right? And there was this
Yeah.
competition that Dawn does every year, and they asked us to make a documentary on what was it, unsung heroes. And I thought, for me, the heroes are definitely the people who wake up so early in the morning to make sure that we have clean roads, we have clean streets, and they still don't get enough respect. I think we all know the way that we treat our sanitation workers, and especially the minority Christian community. So it wasn't even a lot of
Especially
work on
those-
my part.
Especially
Yeah.
those, yeah.
Yeah, so I just made it. I put it out there. I mean, I didn't even do it to win the competition, but somehow there's a Facebook group that is dedicated to sanitation workers, and they call themselves superheroes. And they found my documentary somewhere, and they were so happy. They were like, "Thank you for amplifying our voice and making people realize the amount of effort and like the amount of the dangers that come with our profession," right? Because not only do we treat them in a very inhumane way, there's so many people who've lost their lives cleaning gutters, and we literally take these people for granted, right? And if we think about it, I don't think we would be able to function if they didn't put the kind of effort that they do. So I feel like the online space is like, a two-edged sword. Like people love you and hate you just as much.
Definitely.
Exactly. Damn.
I feel
Sean,
like
take it
I
over.
feel like we've gotten a really interesting view into like you right now as a person and what you're doing. And this is a question Saad normally asks, but I want to know what you were like in high school. Like, yes, we met you, but I don't remember meeting you. I want to know, like, from your point of view,
I
did you
was a
think you'd
nerd,
end up
and
like
I
this?
was a straight A person. I was the teacher's favorite. I don't know. I
Really?
think I was. My mom always used to make sure that I got good grades, and I took that stuff. Actually, you know what? I didn't take it too seriously up until O levels, and somehow I know we all failed our O level mocks, and there was this one teacher who, I think I failed my bio marks so badly that she was like, "I think there's something wrong with you, like you're dumb or something. I don't know why you don't get it." So
Oh,
I think that really
shit.
like got to me, and I worked so hard.
Was it the same bio teacher?
To study for all of my
Was it
O
the same bio teacher we've all had? Was
I
it the
don't
same
wanna-
bio teacher
I
we've
don't
all
want to
had?
take any names. But
We'll have to
I
find
ended
out
up getting
after the podcast.
I ended up getting an A star in bio, and then she was like, "Yeah, she was my best student," and I
Oh,
was like,
shit.
"Okay, sure."
Sounds like our bio teacher, Salman. Salman sounds like our bio teacher.
Yeah, sounds like that.
100%. Oh, man.
But yeah, no, actually after O levels, that I got really good grades. I got I don't know, like around nine A's or something, and
Yeah.
then like people started having big expectations from me. But I think our A level was structured so badly, and there was hardly any support. Maybe they got better around your time, but like for us,
Nah.
we did not. They didn't
Nah.
even tell us how to do college applications. Like I was surprised that I got into college.
Wow.
And, like,
you
it's
holistically
shocking.
described my level experience. You holistically described my A-level experience. I went to the fucking counselors. I'm like, yeah, bro, can you please fucking help me? He's like, bro, yeah, ho jayega, you'll get through. Just like send me your fucking essays and shit. I'd send it to him. He'd never get back to me. I'm like, bro, how am I supposed to apply? By the end of it, Salman and I were helping each other out to applying to different universities abroad and shit.
Oh God. No, yeah, definitely. I think even with us, we helped each other out. Sometimes we even did each other's essays. And you wouldn't believe it,
Wow.
our counselor at the time, she forgot to send in some of our transcripts. Like I got an email back
Oh,
from the
God.
university saying you don't meet the academic requirements to go to college. I was like,
Wow.
what else am I supposed to do after A levels?
Wow.
But yeah, but no, I mean, A levels
But
was just a really, really weird time. I think we all ended up getting very unpredicted grades, and I was lucky that I'd already gotten into college in the US and I didn't have a conditional offer. But I think a lot of the people who did,
Yeah.
they had to do like foundation years and whatnot.
I have to ask you a question. If there was one advice you could give to yourself back in A levels, what would it be? Like knowing you right now, what would you tell yourself if you have a 5-minute conversation with her?
I would definitely tell myself to stop feeling sorry for myself and just, do all the things and apply for all the things I wanted to apply. I think around that time I was so obsessed with my grades that I kind of gave up
Yeah.
on a lot of things. I used to play tennis and I gave up on that just to attend like an after school tuition academy because, what we were taught in school apparently wasn't enough. And for some reason, there was this culture at that time. I know
Yeah.
you guys were debaters as well, but at that time, there was this culture that, like, if you're a debater, you're a cool person. And I don't know, maybe.
Are you
No? Okay,
fucking
that's good.
serious over here? Are you serious over here? That wasn't the culture. It was the exact opposite. It was like the theater club
No,
in the
for
US.
us,
Like if you were,
I don't know. Maybe it
it's
was the
like-
people I was surrounded by. But that's really good. I'm glad to know that people
Yeah.
evolved beyond debating. And MUNs, like such a waste of time.
No, I see
but
what you mean.
definitely-
MUNs were a
Yeah.
very like cool kid thing at that time. I think they still are.
Exactly.
MUNs were. Debates were not. Debates weren't.
Yeah, I think if I would just tell myself to like go easy with the whole getting A's and A stars and just kind
Yeah.
of try to learn another skill. Like I there's so many
Yeah.
things I always wanted to do. Like I always wanted to
Videography,
learn how to play a
photography.
musical instrument. Yeah, exactly. Like I explored that later, but I think if I'd had the confidence and if the people around me were even supportive enough, like I think maybe I could have discovered that side of mine at an earlier age.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah, definitely.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
Okay.
That's pretty cool. Dude, I want to hit Kavaan now. Dude, Saman, I want to hit Kavaan now.
Okay.
We're running low on time.
Okay,
so
let's talk about the elephant. I mean,
Alright.
honestly,
So the thing with Kavaan,
The elephant in the room.
yeah, go
The
on,
elephant in
go
the
for
room.
it. Tell me all about this.
But
so there's an animals rights activist, Faryal Haknawaz, and she had started posting on Twitter about how Kavaan has eased up for the first time in 36 years of his life to a vet called Dr. Amir Khalil, and she put up some beautiful pictures of both of them just caressing each other and Dr. Amir singing songs to him and Kavaan kind of seeing him in a
Yeah.
state that we'd never seen him in before.
Vibing.
Like before, we'd always seen him entertaining little kids and like, kind of being like a circus elephant. So I was like, I want to go and see what's going on in the zoo,
Yeah.
right? I mean, वैसे भी lockdown था and everything else was on hold, so I just showed up with my camera. And I was like, wow, like this is, it was just so heartwarming to see that connection between a man and an apparently aggressive elephant who's killed 2 people in the past. And I was like, okay, I need to document this. And the day that we started documenting it, from that day onwards, that was like sometime in September. And so much happened from that time until Kavaan actually left, which was end of November. Like every day, you wouldn't think that like a zoo would be so full of politics, but it was absolutely ridiculous the amount of people who were trying to interfere, who were trying to make the whole journey so difficult. And I was like, I
Why?
really need to
What's
make
the
sure
point? What did they
that
get out of it?
Yeah,
What did they
why?
get out of it?
I guess everyone was just trying to play like some kind of a power game, and they were trying to, towards the end, when it was getting international coverage and everyone knew that Cher is flying in, I feel like there were so many people who were trying to take credit for freeing Kavaan. Um, and the people who were actually doing it on ground, the vet, Dr. Amir, he's an incredible person. Like, he is like an angel. And I think if it wasn't for him and his leadership and his team from Four Paws, so they're like an animal rescue team, animal rescue organization,
Yeah.
and they're based in Vienna. Their headquarters are in Vienna, but they're based all over the world. And he's done some incredible things in the past as well. Like he's rescued animals from war zones. So I was like, if anyone is going to tell Kavan's story, I think it's so important to tell the people that it was because of the love that he got from Dr. Amir Khalil that he actually recovered. He was overweight because people in the zoo had been feeding him like 200 kilograms of sugarcane per day. And like they had to really totally restructure his diet. They had to, give him a new routine. They had to give him a lot of love, and he loved listening to
Ooh.
like Frank Sinatra, and it was really
Really?
um
Classy elephant.
yeah, it was so wholesome. It was so wholesome to see every day him just taking a
Yeah.
bath and like listening to Frank Sinatra and Dr. Amir singing to him. And I think it was even
Yeah.
more amazing to see the kind of impact that it was having on the people around Dr. Amir, because like there was a lot of local
Yeah.
staff from the wildlife management who were involved as well, and they were like, wow, like we never knew that animals can be
Yeah.
treated so lovingly. And but the whole thing just
Yeah.
got so politicized towards the end because the government actually, before all of this, before it turned into a really big deal, the government was creating all sorts of hurdles for these guys. Like they were delaying their visas, they were delaying the export permit for the elephant. I don't know why. And like there's a lot of stuff that the organization and even I can't talk about because it's like it's supposed to be a secret, or like it can get controversial. And one of the first things
Damn.
I was told when I went there was that
Yeah.
we don't want this to get political because it's just going to create problems for everyone. I was like, damn, like I didn't know zoo can also create trouble for me. But
Um,
yeah, but it was
The zoo.
towards
the
the- I
fucking
think-
zoo, man.
I think one of the most disappointing things towards the end was that there was a lot of hype around the fact that Cher came and that Cher freed the elephant, which is like not entirely true. These guys traveled in a airplane with the elephant, like the 5.5 ton elephant. These guys traveled in a cargo airplane with like no facilities whatsoever, and it's kind of like risking your life. And they spent day and night. They fought with not just Pakistani bureaucracy but like also international press, and there's just so much that went into freeing Kavaan from Islamabad Zoo and taking him all the way to Cambodia. And I feel like the people who actually did it didn't get enough credit. And I was just really glad that I was there every day with my camera, and I got so many not just beautiful moments but also
Wow.
very important moments. And now we're trying to turn it into a feature length documentary, but obviously, like, since I'm an up and coming मैं खुद अपने आप को कह रही हूँ, I'm new to this. I'm
Yeah.
new to documentary filmmaking and like the whole distribution thing. But
Yeah.
it's kind of like difficult for me to navigate the whole thing because at the same time the Smithsonian was there with their like 10-person team and like their fancy cameras and equipment, and actually they had brought Cher with them because they
Yeah.
were trying to do like a documentary about her and Kavaan, and she was the star power of their documentary.
Okay.
So it was kind of intimidating for me because I
Yeah.
mean it was just me and my DOP. That was our team, and then they had like a
Well,
producer and
yeah.
like an assistant producer, then like 2 cameras, and
Damn.
yeah, it was
David versus
really next
Goliath.
level.
I will say, if nothing else, this story right here tells that you can tell a story, and I'm sure the documentary is going to be awesome. So, like, I will be
I
waiting for
really hope
that.
so. I really hope that I find the right platform
Is it
for
gonna be
it
on
and that
YouTube?
more people get to see it.
Is it gonna be on YouTube?
I mean, I'm
YouTube.
I'm
YouTube's
trying
the
to
best
see
one.
if I can get it on. Yeah, well, YouTube is the easiest way out. If nothing else works out, I'm actually trying to get it to stream somewhere, like with a wider audience, so that people all over the world can. I mean, YouTube se bhi dekh sakte hain, but it's just I want to see how actual post production for a documentary actually really works. So let's see.
What about like
I love to tell
Discovery,
stories.
Discovery, Nat
Yeah,
Geo,
exactly.
Discovery, Nat Geo, all
I
those
mean,
boys. Yeah.
in the beginning, I thought that's so ambitious. Like, why would they want my work? But if there's anything I've learned
you
in the
got this.
past year in the business is that like just shoot all your shots and hope for the best.
Shoot your shot. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, guys.
Yeah.
And I believe on that bombshell, we're done. Thank you so much for coming on, Aisha. It was
Oh
a pleasure
wow,
talking
that
to
was
you.
quick.
It was a pleasure hearing about it was a pleasure hearing about Kavaan's stories. Like honestly, we talked about shit that I did not know, quite frankly, and she really gave us insight into all of that. But yeah, now we're done. Peace. Adios. Goodbye.
Amazing.